In a previous video, I talked about adding mixed numbers, and I talked about how to add them by keeping them in mixed number format. What I'm going to do is, if you want to pause the video and you haven't seen the other one, go ahead and pause the video, take a look at these steps here. I'm going to scroll down just a bit here, and these 4 steps are the steps that I used. Go ahead and pause the video if you haven't seen it, and just take a look at those steps. If you have seen it, we're going to go ahead and use a conversion, the second method that I mentioned up here. And what we're going to do is, rather than following these 4 steps, we're going to go ahead and just convert everything to a fraction and then just add fractions because we know how to do it. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take, and I'll try to color code these, and so I'll convert 3 1/5. That's 5 times 3 is 15 plus 1 is 16, and I keep the denominator plus. And then I've got 2 2/5. 5 times 2 is 10 plus 2 is 12 fifths. And now if I just go ahead and do that, I know how to do that. 16 and 12 is 28 fifths. And now I just convert back in. So I just ask myself, how many times does 5 go into 28? It goes in there 5 times, but it has 3 left over, and so I get 5 3/5. We're going to keep going, and I'm just going to go through these next 2 just like that. We're going to convert each one, and then we're going to go ahead and add the fractions. And so 4 5/6, I take 6 times 4 is 24, plus 5 is 29. And again, if you're just starting out and you're not coming up with these all that quickly yet, it's okay. It's going to take some time. But this particular method works better when you've developed your mental math capabilities and conversion. If you have to do it in the calculator or you have to write it out on the side, the other method's probably going to be quite a bit faster for you, at least initially. You'll get it down though. Stick with it. Okay, the bottom one here, 3 5/6, is going to go ahead and expand, convert back into an improper fraction. With 6 times 3 is 18, plus 5 is 23. 23/6. And then we just go ahead and we add them up. Well, 29 and 23. 20 and 20 is 40. 9 and 3 is 12, so that's 40 and 12 is 52. 52 over 6. Okay, so now at this point, before I convert, I'm going to go ahead. I notice that I've got evens on top and bottom. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to reduce. Both are divisible by 2. 56 divided by 2 is 20, or 52 divided by 2 is 26. 6 divided by 2 is 3. Now that it's simplified, 2 plus 6 is 8, which is not divisible by 3. I cannot factor anymore because 3 is a prime number. Now that it's reduced, now I go ahead and reconvert. So 3 goes into 26 8 times. That gives me 24, and so I have 2 left over. And so I come up with my answer. For this third one, it's kind of easier to see once you've, almost easier to see after you've converted both mixed numbers to fractions. And so before I try to get a common denominator, I'm going to go ahead and convert. So 8 times 6 is 48, plus 7 is 55. That's going to be 55 eighths. And then on the bottom here, I've got 4 1/3. This gives me 3 times 4 is 12, plus 1 is 13 thirds. Ooh. Ooh. Now notice that we have to multiply, or we have to get 28. This is where perhaps the other particular method would work better, because now we're going to multiply 55 by 3 and 13 by 8. Oh, that's just evil. Okay, so we're going to do this anyway. The least common multiple of 8 and 3 is 24. And by the way, I prefer to work in fractions rather than decimals. But I try to stay away from big numbers because I don't like using my calculator. I'm kind of a snob that way. Not that I'm against it, it's just I'm kind of a snob. So, call me old school. 8 goes, I have to multiply 8 by 3 to get to 24. That means I have to multiply 55 by 3. Okay, that's 50 times 3 is 150. And 3 times 5 is 15, so that's 165. And then I have to multiply 3 by 8 to get to 24. And so 13 by 8 gives us 104. 10 times 8 is 80. 8 times 3 is 24. 80 and 24 is 104. Now I have to go back and I have to add them together. Well, that's going to give me 269 divided by 24. And now you can see, man, it's really starting to kind of become a pain. I don't know if this reduces. I can check a few things. For instance, 2's and 3's are the only factors of 24 for prime factors, and so I can check 2's and 3's. It's 269 is not even, but let's check the 3's. 2 and 6 is 8, 8 and 9 is 17, which is not divisible by 3, and so 269 is not divisible by 3. Well, in that case, we're just going to have to go ahead and we're just going to have to bite the bullet. So we're going to take 24, and we're going to divide that into 269. 24 goes into 26 once. 1 times 24 is 24. And I have 29 left over, and so 24 goes into 29 once. And that gives me 24, and if I scroll down just a little bit, that'll give me 5 left over, and so 24 won't go into 5, I have a remainder of 5. That means, all said and done, I have to convert this into it. I have my integer is 11, my new numerator is 5, and my denominator is 24, and that's converting it. In this instance, boy, I think I would have chosen that other way. I don't know. It'll be entirely up to you.